There are boundaries in our society that are unspoken. Systems of life benefiting from death that are broken. Ways in which we justify unjust practices to keep capitalism going, to keep industries growing and profits flowing, even if it comes at a cost to our own health. It's like our lives are subsidiary to building wealth. But who are these boundaries meant to protect? The lack of industry regulations will harm the Earth's resources and suck all the oxygen until our last breath. It seems we would rather sacrifice our beloved planet to produce a pound of flesh than to leave the Earth better for our kin, a foundation towards the right step. I have no issues with abattoirs themselves, but there is a better way to do things. These industries have me questioning what it means to be human. So I often wake up daily and feel like I'm on the Truman Show. Our society is in a rat race, a cycle of ignorance on a hamster wheel going nowhere beneficial. Imagine if slaughterhouses were opened and made of glass. I'm sure there would be thousands of questions we'd have to ask. In fact, behind closed doors, many industries thrive off of the death of millions of lives. It gives a new definition to the term making a killing. Capitalism continues to kill to live, putting profits over our mere existence. The Western world is built on the idea of exploiting people and animals to make money, even if it means monopolizing in other countries. They put profit over people, power over justice, and when we call them out, they bribe and lobby politicians and use the same laws to insult us. It's funny how the best nation in the world happily participates in animal cruelty, exploitation, and private prisons to keep itself living, with remnants of dried indigenous blood still staying on their hands since the beginning. But they've learned to justify the games they played to stay winning. It's interesting how society tries to protect us from the concept of death, hides the truth only to run back and advocate for our mental health, a cynical system in a rat race for wealth. As a society, many of us have become desensitized to death. So long as the consequences don't directly affect us, they'll hide the truth in plain sight to perplex us, then propel the system as an excess. But so long as the profits keep flowing, the death toll will keep growing. We've become unconscious consumers, buying into a cycle of violence, a system of silence packaged as consumer goods. It's like buying a new car without looking under the hood. As long as it is under the pretense of patriotism, America won't bother to look. The first public slaughterhouse was invented in France at the beginning of the 19th century. Essentially, the French word abattoir was introduced to refer to a specific place where animals are slaughtered for human consumption. Today, these slaughterhouses are full of corruption, from inhumane practices, greenhouse gases, to unsanitary meat being fed to the masses. What I've learned through this research is that we have to question, we must question where our food is coming from. Question the system. What other injustices take place that we are ignorant of? It begs the question, what else is hidden in plain sight? What other dark industries refuse to meet the light? In the USA alone, approximately 25.3 million animals are slaughtered daily. That is nearly 9.5 billion animals slaughtered annually. Sad that half of that meat goes to waste. Yet they continue killing millions the next day. If we had to kill our own food, would we eat as much meat as we consume? Could we meet the same demand to fulfill our taste for our favorite foods? An average slaughterhouse contains a slaughter floor, a lairage to hold livestock prior to slaughter, a chiller to preserve after death, a tripe room for cleaning the insides, and a room to cut the meat and process. There are conveyor belts of carcasses and cascading hooks tearing through flesh. With outdated regulations, how can we guarantee our meat is fresh? Pools of blood flowing on industrial rubber mats, greenhouse gas impact, animal waste finding its way into our water streams just to enjoy a full plate of meat. Like some American police officers, society hires slaughterhouse workers to serve and protect, but sometimes both brutalize mammalian flesh. The traumatizing nature of the work can cause anxiety, depression, stress, and can lead workers to emotionally detach, self-medicate, or express their feelings through violence or workplace sabotage. The trauma is hidden in plain sight. I remind myself that this is Babylon, but this is not life. For slaughterhouse workers, physical injuries are only the beginning. According to onlabor.org, slaughterhouse work has been linked to higher levels of aggression, violent dreams, anxiety, and hostility. The purpose of slaughterhouses is to kill as many animals as possible in as little time as possible. To maximize profits is inherently in opposition to animal welfare. Not to mention that slaughterhouses get a free pass to pollute America's waterways with nitrogen, phosphorus, and other oxygen-depleting substances. We are literally eating our own environmental death. With little improvement, I had to step back and ask, what the health are we doing? The Amazon has lost 70% of its ecosystem due to the production of slaughterhouses and cattle. Is this even sustainable? We are losing more of our rainforests to fulfill our need and greed to eat, but in the process, losing our trees, the source of life that helps us breathe. They say we are what we eat. At this rate, the climate crisis will turn us all into dead meat. Slaughter has become the cornerstone of modern life. No ethics, no morals, no questions of why. Most would just say, hey, that's life. If that is life, then what justifies all of this death? Martyrs being slaughtered for their flesh, genetically modified to enlarge the harvest, hormones injected to reproduce and meet greedy targets, then feeding GMO meat to the market. We must learn to question these systems. They profit off of our ignorance and benefit from our silence. You vote with every dollar used to buy into this capitalist system. Our planet relies on us to wake up and listen to its cries for help. Our overconsumption is contributing to the global warming crisis. Our glaciers de-icing, our ozone layer thinning. If that is not enough, look at all the floods hitting different corners of the earth. We need to be in harmony with the planet to make it work. There are countries around the world who lack clean drinking water to survive. Yet meat processing facilities are responsible for 29% of the agricultural sector's total freshwater consumption worldwide. The environmental impacts are disproportionately borne by low-income communities, particularly Black communities and other communities of color. Federal data shows that almost half of the slaughterhouses in the United States are in communities with more than 30% of their residents living beneath the poverty line. It directly affects their communities, exposing nearby residents to chemical-laden toxic sludges and air pollution. Their drinking water is jeopardized. Some can't even open their windows for fresh water for fear that the chemicals may cause them to die. It also impacts neighboring wild animals who depend on clean water to survive. The U.S. government spends about $38 billion in tax money each year to subsidize the meat, egg, and dairy industries. But Flint, Michigan is still dealing with a water crisis. America, how can you stomach the fact that there's blood on your hands? You may call yourself the best nation in the world, but have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately? Do you not see the hypocrisy, the lies you've told yourself and regurgitated to your own citizens? It is true that life and death are imminent, but you can't take that money with you. But karma is infinite. You take pride in being militant, then justify to the American people that you're doing it for their own good. Look at the insolent stunts you've pulled. You've turned countries like Iraq, Iran, and Afghanistan into slaughterhouses. set up boundaries to slaughter the planet and humans, then turn a blind eye, greedily extracting flesh and the earth's resources unproportionately, then you bask in your own lie. Here's some food for thought. Slaughterhouses are synonymous to the way your society is run. Herd people in like sheep, feed them green, then make them fear the gun. Your love of money outweighs all else. You regulate your own regulations for the sake of success. You've made billionaires by way of death. You can keep people and animals in captivity and profit all you want. Kill the herds until all life is gone. But we see right through your schemes and tricks. Your slaughterhouses have become glass walls, and we will advocate and make it stick. Because there is a better way to do things than to purely profit off the life and death of animals and humans. Abattoir, U.S.A. When will you wake up to the truth? You can slaughter 1 billion lives and never be satisfied that the real problem is you.